And then, and we should be live. Let me just get the, where do I get the,
It says you are live now.
yeah, but my question is, where do I get the, I forget what, it's like every day, it's like, I forget what I'm doing sometimes.
I got it on my
All right. Okay, this is the link, the linky link right there.
I'm putting a 2-hour
Go
shield
back
up.
to you.
Otherwise, I'm gonna get in shit if I get hit. That's the R5.
And then there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, turn off my YouTube. Like, take that out.
Let me just stock
And
up.
then I'm gonna. If you guys have like a Discord, you can spread the link. I posted it and then like get people in. Um,
We're running, Nikki.
we're running. It's looking good. We just have this giant black screen. Where did I post the link? Where's the link? Oh my god. There it is. Copy. Copy, copy. Go to the other servers. Hello.
Let's go to
Okay.
the store because that's what we're talking about today. The economic
Yeah, the
age
beautiful
of
store.
origins.
I'm just gonna post a link around real quick. So everybody knows, like, hey, we're live. Come over. Let's talk. Grab a coffee. Grab a drink. A
Yeah.
beer. I don't know what time it is. Grab something. A snack. Oh, jeez.
While Nikki is pulling up and setting up, the best advice for spending is no spending.
I think
Lumber, get out of here. We're not talking about that.
that's a fair thing to say. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to get kicked off this podcast.
no, you're not.
I know. It's true. It's true. Like we said yesterday, the best method of spending is not to look. If you're not looking, you won't spend.
Well, if you're
Just yeet your phone
you
out.
might still spend, but you won't know what you're spending, and so it won't hurt you nearly as much if you just don't look.
Actually, yeah, it
Pay
can
the
be used
credit
like
card
that. Yeah.
off without
Ooh,
anything else.
Oh, it'll hurt.
never
It'll just
mind
hurt at
then.
the end of the month.
I mean, if you don't
When you get
if
those
you
bank
don't
statements,
look at your statement and you just pay it off, it's fine, right? Maybe you just went out and you bought a little more groceries and had a little bit more pineapple pizza than usual.
That's a lot of pineapple pizza for some people.
so
Oh,
you
there's
she loves her pineapple pizza.
never enough pineapple pizza. Never.
But is there enough pineapple in a pizza though?
That's also
Is
the
there enough?
problem,
Is there ever enough?
which is probably for another podcast, but you know what? It's all good. Shall we get started?
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody to another podcast. It's your girl Nikki. Today we're gonna talk about the AO Economics, meaning what is the best thing to buy or what's where to put your money at, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like we're gonna give you advice, tips, or show you this is a good value, this is a bad value. What events would be best for you to play? I mean, because some events are worth it, some are don't because the rewards are not it. You know what I mean? Today we have Lumberg. Everybody knows Lumberg from 285. We have Oxy from 52 and Simple Jack, who is his first time being here, but we all know he's the guy, the AO bet from World 30, well known server. And we're gonna start with Jack. You can do a little introduction of yourself since it's your first time here, but I'm sure everybody knows you. But just throw a little introduction.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, Simple Jack from Nation 30. I've been playing for over 4 years. And let's see, I started World 45, went to World 29, then World 30. So um, that's about it. Nothing special.
Yeah, but everybody know World 30, big nation, well known, very strong.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would be our first topic or question through the economics in store and whatnot? Your, your.
So we're gonna toss this to the participants here and have them break down, in their opinion, what category of spenders they are. So previous to us launching live into the podcast, we decided that there's 5 categories. There's a kaiju, like a hyper monster. There's a monster, sub monster, medium, and low spenders. So we'll start with Simple Jack. What category are you in?
I would definitely classify myself as a sub monster. Definitely not a monster.
All right, Oxy, what category of spender are you?
I would have said some monster, but Phil said monster, so I guess I'm a monster.
All right, Lumberg, you're next. What category are you?
I'm a kaiju. No, I'm not. So I maintain a pretty strict budget. It's between 150 to 200 a month. I don't know what category that would be. I think it's closer to low than medium. So I would say I'm a low spender,
I think
but I
that's
make it up with my charm.
of course. Well, I don't think it matters. Sort of like I medium and low. That's just that's not the greatest wording, of course. But I think being honest with how much money you're spending is also really helpful for the audience listening as well. Like for myself, I was saying that I probably, depending on what I'm doing, will spend anywhere from like $500 to $1,000 a month, and I think maybe that qualifies me as a medium spender. But it also depends sort of on your nation and what their growth is like too. Nikki, how do you categorize yourself?
I think I'm more like a small to medium. It just depends the event. Like this Void War that we had recently with 273, I went all out. I overspent what I usually do because it was such a fun void. So it's like if it's fun, I don't care. I'm gonna spend and then I'm gonna regret it later. But who cares? Why? We had fun.
That's true. All right. So our next question for these people, our friends here is, can you guys agree what is the 100% best recurring purchase that you can make in this game? And I'll open that up for anyone who wants to answer it first.
For me, it depends on where you are, like what level you are. But my go-to is always officers. Always build up your officers. Equipment if your equipment's not already there, and then finally probably Titans. But Titans are extremely important nowadays, especially warplanes. But that being said, your core to me is always going to be your officers and equipment. You've got to get those up before, well, not before anything else, but definitely it needs to be built. So those are the ones that I'd usually recommend to people.
Oxy, what's your opinion on what's the best recurring purchase to make in this game?
I think it depends on what it is you're focusing on, what it is you're trying to do. It's unrealistic to expect everybody to be able to afford to focus on everything. Right. So some people are just going to buy enough gold and speeds to be able to participate. And they're going to kill zombies and stuff to work on their officers. A method that's pretty good if you want to, just sort of steadily grow is to buy, the first 1 or 2 of each of the present box areas that you need. And it just starts to accumulate, right? Save it up, wait for bounty, and upgrade a bunch of stuff. I usually sort of jump around different focus areas, right? So I'll set a goal for myself. Right, for example, I was trying to hit 10 million officer power. So I was pumping my officers. And then Warplanes came out, was doing that. Then it sort of switched to Conquest because, I needed to get somehow 200 or 350% speeds at least in the week and a few 100,000 gold. And, going hard once a week the way I like to play. You're usually not left with much come the end of it. So yeah, I think it definitely depends on your area. For somebody who's just starting, if you're going to do it, I would probably agree with Jack. Say officers, um, and then decent value purchases are probably uranium and Supreme Card.
Mm-hmm. Lumberg, what's your suggestion?
Sure. This one is, my focus area, right? So to me, I probably agree with Jack and Oxy in terms of the Supreme Card. So the Supreme Card is 19.99 in USD. It gives you, 1,000 gold and one elite order. So from a pure value standpoint, that so I'm an accountant, right? If you couldn't tell from the spreadsheets already, you really want to look at what are you getting. So everything in this game is overpriced. But that being said, there are good times to buy it when you have the double up events, when you have. So basically, I recommend that from a and my perspective is low to medium spenders. You want to keep that budget of spending, keep accumulating that and spend the items that you're looking at for that next level, right? If you're working on warplane, whatever you need the alloy. But you only get those when you have the alliance events, when you have the spend events that gives you those bonus. So I always, I always recommend kind of holding your spend until you get something else that is of value for free. But from a recurring spend perspective, without a doubt, the best value is 30,000 gold and 30 elite orders for 19.99, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's if you think about uranium, yes, that's a great one. I get it now. That's really to just keep up. But uranium in as of itself really is just helping you get there sooner. If you're a low to moderate spender or a low spender, you really want to focus your spend on items that you can't get over time for free. So what are those items, right? So those items would be the Titan evolution, the Warplane evolution. That's where you want to kind of get your spend. But recurring spend just from a value, you need gold and you need officers. Those elite orders, as crappy as they end up being, they really do help. So from a values perspective, Supreme Card without a doubt.
Nikki, what's yours?
I mean, it depends. Like, if you're somebody who's mostly focusing on one thing, like for me, stat wise, think I'm good the way that my stats are, but my titans are like lacking. So I would focus on buying titans packs, like more for the talent, more to upgrade their the meat, upgrade like the shield talent, whatever talent that requires the little crab looking hook and the cubes, the damn cubes. Those are hard to get for me. But I'm taking my time to be honest, because either way, I'm still weaker than everybody else, so I'll just take my time. I just buy what I think will help me level up more. But like as everybody would say, Titans are more important at the moment, or are like like the one that will decide the battle kind of way. I mean, there's other things that can decide it, like the island items, the warplane, but I feel like Titans are still, are still the one to decide the battle.
I
So for me, I focus more on Titans.
Yeah. I tend to agree with Lumberg in terms of just because Lumberg sort of made his bread and butter in as an AOO vet talking about, here's how as a lower spender you can really optimize your gameplay. And I agree with him in like those officer packages are the best. That's the Supreme Card, I think. It's the best bang for your buck. And absolutely all the stuff that you can't really get for free in the game, participating in events, like you should set aside money to buy those if that's what you want to start advancing, like the warplanes and those darn mutagen stones, because you only get so many playing Chaos Land. And this is just a tip for everybody that's listening to this podcast right now: is we still haven't had like that group buying star event. So if you haven't bought all the things that you need to buy for the month, it is, as Lumberg was saying, save up for that one event so that you can help your whole nation do that event very well by buying everything at the end of the month. The next question for you guys is, what is the 100% thing that is the worst bang for your buck. Like you don't buy this ever, no matter how much money you put into this game. Oxy?
Resources. Buying uranium really sucks. We've all done it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Uranium not worth the buck. I mean, your uranium supreme card would be the one that you should buy instead of individually buying uranium packs.
Jack, what's one thing you do not recommend anybody ever buy?
Um, definitely the resources ones. That's kind of lame, but one of the things that never, I don't know why it catches everybody's eye, but that one gift pack that always gives like a gift that you give the alliance, I never buy that thing. Maybe I'm
Oh wait,
stingy,
let me
but
find it. I'll find it in my.
where is
It's
it?
the Bronze Alliance pack, the weekly one.
Yeah, I never buy that thing because it's just like this matter of just little things. Like, what am I gonna do with 150 speed? So
Yeah, but you can give gold to everybody.
yeah,
And
but
you can
what does
Like
everybody get?
throwing
Like 10
breadcrumbs to
gold?
the little ducklings. You give, here's some gold for you.
Yeah, you
That's
can buy
true.
that. And then the Silver Alliance pack, which is like 2 25% and 2 50% speed ups.
Yeah, I guess so. It never caught my eye because if you're going to do something like if you're going to build troops, then just go to the troops and buy the speeds for troops. Or
Yeah,
if you need heals, go to heals. So, and plus, I never, anything that has those resources like at the bottom like that, that's just like wasted buys for me. So I never buy them.
hmm Lumberg, what do you recommend that nobody ever buy?
The list is pretty long, but I agree. Resources is probably absolutely the worst buy. You can farm, ask for help, find other means that we won't talk about. Early game. A lot of us are very far from early game, and we don't remember what it's like to not have resources. So it is tempting. Um, but really, I would categorize. So you know how there's a gift box in the top corner, and then there's a special gift box right next to it, right? So the top corner, and then the one right next to it.
Yep.
Anything in general in that top right corner, which is the regular gift packs, those I think in general are worse off. So you can just automatically, assume that, for instance, like, warplane items, Titan items that are available there are going to be, more expensive than when they come into the daily, the weekly, the specials, and the monthly specials. So in general, if you can avoid going to that top right corner, do it. Yes, of course, when the warplane comes out, when the Titan comes out, that's the only place where it's available, and that's where they get that, the whale money, right? So the people that will buy it, and of course, everybody knows this, that they get. Or if you didn't, please do watch. Forget about that percentage that they displayed. That is just garbage. You're not getting any deals, but it does. The higher that percentage, the more likely it is a bad deal. So you can use that if you don't want to do the math. You'll find out that if you go to the higher level packs, they get worse and worse and worse for your money. So try to avoid that top right corner. Try to focus your buys on the daily, weekly, and monthly to the extent that you can. Now warplane items are available on daily. So that's good to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think there's even a spreadsheet out that shows that because for a while the warplane pack you could only buy it through this, and on the spreadsheet they call it like a semi-weekly special. You could only buy those items through it. So if you wanted to level up your warplane, you really didn't have a choice. But after they started introducing the warplanes into the weekly packs, it is very obvious that it's always the weekly packs that are like slightly cheaper than if you were to purchase through semi-weekly. So again, if you're not like a monster and above, don't just try and avoid that section.
Yeah, I would say if you're medium spender or even sub monster, right, the first one or two of them is not going to value. You referenced that spreadsheet. That say is a spreadsheet. It actually tells you how much you pay per item in US dollars. Some of them aren't aren't terrible value, right? But yes, if you go past $20 packs, it gets dicey quick, and it's often a good idea to compare to the daily packs and see what you're getting.
Yeah.
On a per dollar or per item cost as you go through them. It's always a good idea to compare prices, do a little math, be a little nerdy, build a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It'll save you some money and get you there faster.
Nikki, what's the one thing that you would never buy?
Resources packs. Because why would I need that? I mean, the game where they're rich rewards, they give you oil and rice, regardless. And then if every time we attack, we take resources from them peoples.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? I mean, for from someone who's starting like a newer nation, I get it. Why would they sell that? But you can just farm for free or steal it from somebody for free, you know?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm surprised that none of you guys mentioned that like one of the worst things that you can buy are like director officer fragments.
That's because I don't even think about those. It's like it's a known thing
Yeah,
not to buy.
they're
That's
bad, but I mean, I would somebody starting out who wanted to get EMP, whatever the Medici skill is called, right? That's still better than buying resources. But yeah, no, I think that goes back to what Lumberg said. Don't spend or invest a lot of money in something that you can get for free. And you can go to the Zcoin exchange every day and get those guys 6-star, full, your breakthrough maxed, no problem.
yeah.
You know what's the worst of the worst? The the officer's chest. Like the chest that gives you officers. Hold on,
Oh,
sorry.
let me see. The officer fragment
Like
chest?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. There.
You see those little chests in the skills one. Those the chests that are skills
Yeah.
and skill fragments and officer fragments. It's the worst scam because you know the game will not give you what you want. It will give you a bunch of farming officer or
Yeah.
anything that is not what you want, or farming skills or city skills that you don't need, and it's just a waste of money. It's you're gambling just to get something you can just buy the pack that gives you specifically what you want.
That's true. That's really true. Rexy actually just said another bad spend is directly buying troops.
yeah, that's a terrible idea. Buying troop
Yeah.
cards.
I think that was yesterday's package was like you could get the level whatever your highest tier troop is. You could have bought like the troop recruit packs for those. I think that was yesterday's daily.
It only goes to T11. There are no T12 troop cards.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely yesterday. So
One of
the
the
so the,
things,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, one of the things that I was talking to somebody else recently is, since the evolution of the game, like when I first started playing, all you could buy for were officers and equipment. There were no titans or no zombies, anything like that. So I can't imagine trying to grow a city today where you have so much more to spend on. I mean, it's just crazy. So because by the time zombies and titans and everything came around, my officers and my equipment were sitting pretty good. So I really didn't have to keep up with that as much as before, but I just can't imagine what a new player, thinks about when he's, trying to upgrade his Titans, his warplanes, his officers, his equipment, his zombies. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And
Like
we
I
have the
remember
luxury of like Drill Masters coming out later, Saki coming out later, right? So some of those we do. It's not even like we had to focus on all the officers at the same time.
I think what the problem with the game now is like there's so much to focus on, you don't know where to start.
Yes, that's and that actually leads into our next topic for the spenders is depend given the category that you put yourself in, what do you prioritize and what don't you care about in terms of growing your city and spending for it? I'll let Oxy start first.
I don't I don't think it's a good idea to ignore anything. You should always be trying to move things forward, but as I mentioned earlier, you can't do it all at the same time. So I like to focus on a specific area and set goals for myself. So like I said earlier, I think 10 million officer power. I was trying to hit 1,300 melee HP. I did that, and I was trying to hit 1,500 attack in the mines. I did that. Now I'm onto warplanes. I'm trying to get the gold warplane.
That darn gold
Yeah,
war.
I agree with the Oxy. So I think it's smarter to prioritize what you want to grow. Like for my city right now, I'm trying to hit all the triple S um, skills for my officers and warplane, of course. But outside of that, I'm not really concentrating on anything else. So.
Lomberg, what do you prioritize for yourself?
Um, so I think it's important to understand that everybody in this podcast is pretty far along with their cities. I'm probably the most behind in terms of the spending, but similar to what Jack and Oxy are saying, you look at that attainable, tangible goal that's within your budget. So for me, first and foremost, is maintaining that budget, and you can set different ways to do that. So really, what you spend on, really, the way I look at it is that every month I transfer, you know, $100 from PayPal and transfer some money from gift cards from YouTube that um, you know that I put into the game spending account. So that's $200 a month, and I can spend. That's it. It's not going to go up. If Campbell introduces, a new warplane, it's not going to go up, right? You stick to that budget, and then you just really say what event is coming up, and you plan ahead, right? So, where do I need things? Okay, I need a blue warplane, so I need those alloys on the plane. That's what I'm going to focus on. So you set that goal and you go after that. That still doesn't mean that you go crazy and say I'm going to buy the second pack. I still stick to that first pack and whatever is a good deal. Okay, bingo event happens, there's some good deals there. I'm always looking for free elite orders. As crappy as they are, you can get them for free in many events. I'm looking for, even 10 Kingsley fragments. Those are gold. Why are those gold? Because now, if you get your Kingsley to 5-star, 5.1 star, and you use that to refresh. So, like many other people, the bread and butter is officers. So, I really look at what's a good deal, and I focus on elite orders. Um, and gold and things. So consumables is really needed to kind of keep up with the game. So you want that gold for those consumables. I buy about a speed pack. So if I think about a $200 budget, I'm looking at a couple of elite order recruits monthly pack. Again, when there's deals going on, I'm looking at a couple of the mutagen Titan evolution items from purple to gold. I'm looking for a couple of those chips to get those Titan skills up. I'm looking at alloy to get the warplane up. So that's kind of where my budget rounds up, and anywhere else where I can fit in a 199 pack for elite orders and things like that, or the alloy for the Titan equipment. That's really kind of how I've looked at the focus. I'm going to continue with just a thought process. To Jack's point, it's got to be really, really frustrating for a player that just started, picked up this game to even figure out where the heck do I spend, right? So already this game is expensive. So how can we make it to where we can give some guidance is something that we have to kind of think back and say, if we go and play now and you start over from, I don't know, crap heroes, crap everything, where do you really spend your money? Because it's a little tricky. And I think some of the basics of that is still the same. You look out for those evolution items on the Titans and warplanes. You look out for heroes. That's your bread and butter. Equipment, I'm going to disagree a little bit with Jack, because I think equipment you can just get through activity. Because I'm cheap, you can hunt zombies and get the equipment that you need. But what you can't get is the blueprints. So for most of the equipment, at least the extensions and those blueprints, I think those monthly road, what are they called? Roadmap, Legends of the Road, those are still good packs. The 1999 deals, the extra rewards on Bounty, those are some places where you can get those equipment items. That's the best item that you can get from there. And I'll stop talking.
No, we like it when you talk. The next, Nikki, what's your priority right now for yourself in terms of spending?
Like I said, Titans.
And then what don't you care about at all? Like you're not gonna look at this.
The uranium. I mean, I don't see myself being a C38 anytime soon, so I don't look at uranium packs.
Yeah.
If they ever decide to release the myth, the legend, the C40, then I don't think I'll be a C40 either way. So I just, like I said, I focus more on what will make me stronger or what would help me when I'm in a group attack. Because, the more you can do damage or the more you can kill in a group attack, the more you can rank up and score. And, you can get the rewards of a higher rank.
hmm So before we move on to the our sort of like financial opinions on events, what do you guys think is the biggest misconception about how to spend money or how much money is needed to play this game? Jack,
Ooh,
go.
I think that's a tough one. So a couple of things there. So one, um, I think it's important for every player to kind of know their role. So like every alliance, I think ideally you want to have like 5 to 10 monsters, maybe 20 sub monsters. You're going to have like a handful of admins, handful of hounds that find the targets, and then the rest are all soldiers, right? The rest are the guys that they need to show up for the attack. That's it. They need to have the speeds for the attack. They don't have to have the 1400 long range or anything like that. They just have to participate. So, number one is know your role, but number two, you just there's a there's a dynamic that not a lot of people think about, and it's not really tried and true, but really the bigger you are, the less it costs you to score, right? So like for me to score in an event and match like Oxy's score, I'd have to spend a lot more resources to get the same amount of points as he does. Um, Mainly because he's so much stronger that he's going to have more kills, therefore more points. And so that's one aspect that a lot of people don't understand is that the soldiers, they're not there to get 1 billion or 2 billion points for void, and for them to have to spend to purchase what they would need to get that, it would be astronomical. So you can think about it two ways. Like if you want to spend to build your city, you're going to be spending a little bit less just to garner the resources that you need to gain those points. I don't know if that resonates or if that makes sense, but that's one thing that I've noticed.
No, I get that absolutely. Like the concept of if you understand sort of where you fit in the team aspect, it actually makes it a lot easier for you to figure out like this is maybe where I should put my money.
Yeah, once you know where you stand in your team, then you can really start to figure out what your budget needs to be in order to be like a contributing team member.
Mm-hmm. Oxy, I
Yeah,
see.
definitely agree with that, right? I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make with any situation with microtransactions like this is to try to keep up with somebody, right? Because what eventually happens is you don't realize you've spent as much as you have when you're buying them in smaller increments, and then boom, you spent $1,000 in a day or something, and you just have to be really careful with that. Understand your role, where you want to be. Recognize there's always going to be somebody bigger and badder. It's just the way it is. There's always going to be somebody crazier. I mean, we just looked at that Nine Vegas dude the other day. He's got 3 C38s and a C37. He keeps lost his mind. Um, so
Oh,
that
I was
that's
looking at it.
definitely definitely important. Figure out where you sit in there, and focus on the area that helps you contribute to the team.
Mm-hmm. Lumberg, what do you think? I think he's muted.
He's
Okay.
busy trying to give a quote for some Blue Ridge landscape contractor dude.
Oh yeah, he's talking about getting somebody an interview.
Oh,
Look at him
sorry.
schmoozing.
I was on mute. I was wondering why nobody was letting me interrupt Oxy. So I was gonna make a joke, but now it's not even timed well. But I'll still make it because my timing sucks anyways. So trying to compete with Oxy as an example to score more is a really bad idea. He's mid range. If he attends any battle, he's gonna kill 3 times as much and kill your troops. And the man doesn't sleep in void. So you should pick your targets and goals better for sure.
I mean, I know it's a joke, but it's true because I went to a Target, right? I sped and Oxy was right behind me. Even though I made it first in there, I didn't kill anything. I killed one troop. Oxy took everything.
Yeah.
He's like he follows you around. He's everywhere.
That's why you
Gobble
call
gobble.
kill thieves.
Kill thief.
On a serious note, I do have some thoughts on this. So it's really delicate balance, So I agree with a lot of the things that that Jack, Nikki, and Oxy are saying. I think it's really important as the alliance leaders to set that know your audience and set that criteria as well, right? So there's a lot of social pressure to perform. I would say really your best thing to determine your spend level and where your spend level and where you fit in would be really to determine what alliance you're in. Because if you're in that top alliance in the nation, the pressure, the social pressure, you're going to put it on yourself. Nobody really forces anyone to spend, but there is that pressure to spend. So if you don't feel like you can keep up, it is better to try to take a step back and go to the second ranked or third ranked alliance. And I think it is important to keep that in mind. And those that are in the alliances, it's really important as alliance leaders to know what your audience is, what their budget is, and mix that all together. And the others have already said, you have a good mix of people, right? So, and people realize this. People realize that okay, you're not, if you're not spending, you're still valuable because you have an eagle eye and you're finding those targets, right? That's a huge plus. So that everybody has their role to play. And it's not just about spending. And that being said, I would take an active C34 over, an inactive C38 that doesn't fight any day or spends and, has a, 15,000 island, right? So it's all about,
Yeah,
participation.
facts. I remember when I used to be in the other world, or back in 81 before I moved to 52. I will always say in leadership, I would rather have a weak C34, but this person joins the attacks, finds the targets, and just follows the rules instead of a C38 that rather plays solo, doesn't care if there's a group attack. He will not join whatsoever because he does not want to lose his troops and spends because it's a team game regardless. Either way, it's going to be a team game, and if you want your team to thrive, you want to get people who are team players even though they may not spend, but they do their part.
I think that's a lot. That's not even just a financial misconception. It's just like a huge game misconception that it doesn't even matter what worlds you come from. Like I play in 567 as an R5 there, and then I play very casually in 52 as a peon, and the and people forget that yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you dump into your city. If you're not there, you're not doing anything. Like your city's just useless. You have to participate. Like you have to be ready to play. Otherwise, there's no point in you even being there. Okay, let's move on. Someone was asking in the comment section of the chat, and this is a good time for us to move on. And what you guys think are like the best events in the game that people should make every effort to participate, and if they can budget to spend, they should do that.
It's kind of the tough one.
Don't know who wants to go first because there's a lot of events in this game.
Yeah, I can tell you that like this Bloodfest or whatever, I'm not really uh this one in Chaos Land I just joined for the merit. Um but I can't even remember because I don't remember playing Iron Blood. But are speeds? Can you gain speeds from tickets?
Not in Iron Blood, I don't think.
Okay, yeah. So then it's going to cost you to merit up. It's going to cost you, you know, a handful of speeds. Whereas like Chaos Land, I like Chaos Land because you get decent merit, and once you get a couple of kills, you've got the tickets to speed. So um, it's fun in that respect. But like for me, Chaos Land is just point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot, and just rinse repeat, and it's kind of boring. So for me, my focus now is just going to be Void.
Oxy, what's your best?
Well,
Or actually, go ahead, Nikki.
I agree with Jack. The Bloodfest event is not worth the buck if you're not a strong player. You should really focus on Chaos Land. It's much cheaper because of the free tickets. But for me, I haven't even tried the event. I don't even plan on joining the event because I know either way, I'm gonna be taken down and I'm gonna be kicked out, and that's will be wasted my time and wasted my money if I decided to buy an item or whatever is asking you to be able to play in there. It's like if an event is asking you to put this much money for you to get some really silly, not worth rewards, I don't think it's an event that is worth your time or money.
Oxy, what's yours?
I like any event where you get to kill stuff, and this is a war game. That's kind of the point. Um, Least favorite as far as money pit wise, um, Duel of Dollars and Triangle Wallet. I don't like those at all. Those are both just a total rip. And then they went and, crossbred Chaos Land with DoD. We didn't need Iron Blood. That's just a total money grab. I still haven't done it yet. I think I'm going to today though, just because I'm itching like a crackhead for a kill. But yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, Oxy,
I just
you're
like
up
to play.
24 hours.
Yeah, I just like to play and kill stuff. That's basically the main
Bloodthirsty.
thing I enjoy in this game anymore is blowing stuff up.
I did notice that they changed. Like Chaos Land is now a very expensive event to join as well, especially if you're not one of the strongest cities there, and you do have to be careful about having a shield up. It is very expensive now to play Chaos Land.
Yeah, now that the price of the shield goes up, it's
Yeah,
kind of whack. I don't know if that was intended
Oh,
to get people to shield less or what, but it goes up with every shield that you purchase.
it's very,
Uh,
very expensive now. It does encourage
yeah,
more, be scrap more, and you have to be more strategic about what you're doing. You can't just hide behind a bubble, which is actually kind of nice for people who are there to, fight and not try and send a fleet off for someone to just have them immediately shield up right away. But it is expensive now too.
yeah, Chaos is one of those events I recommend. Right, you get in, you open your 10 chests, and you get out. Um, it's usually something I can do pretty quick. And then
I
it,
mean, that's the
it
fun
just
part of it.
depends. Yeah, but then you can keep going, right? And it becomes one of those events where you just dropped 100K gold in 90 minutes and um, don't have any speeds or teleports left, So it's definitely one that can get away from you.
Hmm.
If you're small, sometimes a good idea to join a little bit lighter and just start picking up scraps, or hit the giant worms. Those are good sources of points, but I usually, try to find something that's like a 50 million C35 right off the bat and open up 6 or 7 chests, and then you're done in 10 minutes.
I will
Lumber.
say, I will say, Battle Frenzy has some potential now that they opened up those towers in the game. Um, the last Battle Frenzy that we had, I guess there's a new format, and it definitely made it more. Or let me put it this way: it made it less tedious because you weren't searching the map constantly for targets. You were actually concentrating on your tower and everybody else's tower. So it was a good spin, I think, and I think it'll catch on. I think it'll make the event better.
I actually hope so. That I hope that they're introducing it to all of the nations for this week because I'm really excited to try it out.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I didn't. I forgot it wasn't rolled out to everybody. So I think it was last Battle Frenzy. World 30 got to do it. I can't remember who we played, but it's a format where your top three alliances have towers in kind of like capital, where, well, not really like capital, but you essentially defend your tower and you attack towers, and your nation can kind of work together. Like, say if somebody in your nation, one of your alliances, gets knocked out of the tower, you can help them and take over that tower, knock them out of the tower for them. So it's kind of cool, but it really depends on your nation, because like our second or third largest alliance was like an academy, so they. But overall, it's fun because before it was you just look for targets and it was a no kill event, so it was kind of lame that way. But overall, it introduced some strategy because there's attack windows that you can and cannot attack in. It's like an 8-hour span that you select over the 24 hours, so your team can take a rest or whatever, and you can't attack other towers that are in their um, uh, non-attack window. But overall, it's kind of cool. You guys will see it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, hopefully they do implement it this frenzy.
That does sound like a improvement.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
trying
they
to
should
think
put
of
it
some
in.
of the
Maybe they
nuances
will
of
put
it.
it in Boyd.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the nuances about it, because it really was kind of interesting. It just brought a different aspect, because before, Battle Frenzy was just searching for targets and just waiting for all of your scrub alliances to give up all their points, and you lose a lot of points that way. So Battle Frenzy was always frustrating in that respect. But now that you have the towers, you really do focus on um, getting your guys together, attacking with strength, and defending your towers and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
On the event, I did want to add for the non-first worlders, where I like how boring it is to get the 10 boxes. For us peasants, pretty darn difficult to get 10 boxes. I usually sometimes don't get 10 because somebody like Jack or Oxy hits me, and then it's like, oh shit, now I have to heal like 7 weeks of troops to be able to get to box number 9. So Chaos Land is a fun event. So from a event reward to kind of cost perspective, Chaos Land is by far the best rewards of merit, and I think power ore now it gives, and just in terms of other items, the merit really is the big thing. Because the tickets can be used for speed, you can really play it for free. So if you're not a monster that can just come in, so it's really boring for people that are really strong and people that are really weak, and it's also boring if you get a really terrible matchup. Like we got such a bad matchup. It was good, nobody hit us, but it was really boring because it was completely like 285 and like world 400, 500, 600, like just terrible matching. But if you have good opponents, it can actually be pretty fun. And the fun aspect of it comes like working together as a team, doing TAs, and because it doesn't need any speed, even people that don't normally spend money can actually get a taste for what it's like to do a massive speed attack. So I will say that yes, granted, if you're very strong or weak, it's really terrible. Um, but it is a fun event. I do recommend that you play 2 rounds, because that second round that costs, I forget, 1,000 or 2,000 gold is well worth the merit if you can get all of the boxes. That being said, it is really at bad times in the US, for those in the US or just in other places, because the timings are pretty bad. From an event perspective, the most nations focus on Void, but it's now a frustrating experience. So I'm just going to put in a pointer to have your VIPs and write to Camel to split phase 1 to 4 with phase 5, because Void is getting increasingly boring because people just have a tendency to just recruit ahead, and it's becoming more pronounced when you fight a nation that's got
Recruiting bubble.
Yeah, recruiting bubble.
Recruiting bubble.
if you haven't checked out Nikki's, it looks like she's starting a new line of singing videos. So you should check out her recent video where she has a new song. The first one was TSK, so that's my alliance. So of course I'll plug that. But the next one is also pretty good. It's I think Recruiting Bubble. So that being said, it used to be that phase 5 was separate, and that determined, like, real fight determined the victor, and it would be nice to go back to that. So that's it.
I do have to agree with Lumberg also, because you're not the only peasant here, Lumberg. I also routinely am never able to open all of the boxes in Chaos Land, no matter how hard I try. Even if I'm fighting worms or if I'm in team attacks trying to help out to fight, because it is a lot of fun to participate in these giant team attacks, especially in Chaos Land. You buy the tickets to boost your attack, you boost your fleet size, and it's a lot of fun participating, only to regret later on that, I've got now 7 days worth of healing, and either I do that or I can't play anymore. I do find Chaos Land is one of the events that I will try to play because of the merit. But can see from an older world perspective where it's maybe pretty boring because it's like bam, 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 and then you're done. But for the people that are in the newer globes, like 500 and higher, like Chaos Land is definitely one of the events that you should really try and play. And we already briefly touched on this, but what is one of the events? And we'll go into the other spending events later, because I think we should talk about things like the lucky wheel or the drag race events in terms of whether or not it's worth spending for. But for other fighting events, you guys generally seem to be in agreement that the Iron Blood Battlefield one is one of the ones that's probably very expensive and not worth playing, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
only
about
played
as
it.
gross as it gets.
100%. But I do have a request that people, you can have a lot of fun if you actually don't overspend. Like, if nobody's using that $100 nuke, it is nice for, weak players to come play with T12. Like, that's not bad. It's a good concept. It just needed to be like, free tickets like Chaos Land to be meaningful. I think it is a good idea for, let's say, somebody that will never have T12 to just go and experience what that looks like and get revenge on their tormentors. I think that's a good idea. Some people will pay money for it, because it's a one-time spend, and you can go take revenge on somebody that's been bullying you. So, but yeah, it's garbage.
So if we can go into like the non-fighting events, and I know, yeah, this is a war game, and most of us on this podcast, I would say maybe all of us on this podcast, we prefer playing the war aspect of this game. But that's being said, there are still lots of events that Camel puts out that are almost strictly spending events. Which ones do you think people should pay attention to, and which ones do you think they can kind of ignore?
Again, I think it boils down to, like, if you're targeting something. So, like, if you're targeting the samurai skin for, well, I guess that's DoD, but any kind of event where you target something, like maybe the movie theater on your island, then you're gonna do whatever fishing game or whatever it is. But to continually do those games, I rarely go into them. The only time I really go into those games is if there's something that I want, and I know I've got to do the lucky wheel thing to get it or something. But other than that, I rarely ever participate. Like the climbing game or whatever, I've never done that.
Oxy, what's your opinion on the pure spend events?
In a lot of cases, it's island and higher end Titan stuff. If you're getting for it, I think, like Lumberg said, in some aspects you can, save some money and spend it in like group buy or treasure hunt, wherever you get you're spending the money you'd be spending anyway, but you're getting something for free for it. Lucky Coin, if you need equipment stuff, if you need blueprints, it's not bad. I think, if you buy up to the 35 rewards, I think that's not terrible value. You also get speeds and teleports, some other items in there that can be helpful, some Titan stuff. But if you don't need or you have maxed equipment, it can be rather frustrating. I think 3 of the 12 items on the wheel are equipment related. Most of us have maxed out equipment. And so, that's something I've mentioned to them before. I wish they would consolidate all of those into one point and add something else that's, harder for us to get. Now they should add warplane things, right? Take that down to one, make one of them alloys, one of them components, or even better, make it the blueprints, but I don't look to that. I'm not a fan of the fishing one. That's probably the one I hate the most. Total ripoff.
I agree with that.
Lumberg, I know you studied this extensively. What's the best pure spend event in your opinion?
So like the others have said, probably some of the top tier island items that come with a special skill, the most useful probably being movie theater. If you're if you're a low spender, forget about it. If you're a medium spender, getting some of those spin wheel, you can kind of. Somebody else told me that they were a medium or low spender. They just bought a couple of coins that was the best one over a couple of months and then got the movie theater. Right? So that's a smart way because those coins stay in your bucket. That way, if you're on a budget and you don't have to buy and go crazy and you're buying it at the cheaper value and then doing it that way. So if you have a goal with one of those big high ticket items where you have to spend on this silly mini game, I think that makes sense to get that that ticket item. That being said, to ignore that totally is not always good. There is some value, especially so. Pay attention to the ones that have those bingo quests. So I never go to get the actual item. I don't actually succeed in getting the item. What I end up doing is, saying, "Oh, that first tier of bingo rewards." And then, if I was spending stuff anyway, so the bingo rewards actually does give some good value, even in the fishing game, and as stupid as it is. But there, so there is some value. Pay attention to the bingo quizzes and some of those free stuff. Don't just ignore it altogether. If you're looking for that value in free items.
Any more thoughts?
Are we still talking about events?
Well, just the spending ones right now. Like you've got there's like Alliance Bounty, there's Drag Race.
Can I add one more point?
Yes.
Anybody, I know the skins are pretty, please. Like if your goal is to spend and get a skin, it just absolutely isn't worth it unless you're a monster or maybe sub-monster plus. Like the skins are really, really bad deal. Like the stats that they give, they really, yep, you can get it up to a couple of stars and you get some meaningful stuff, but it's one of the worst spends you can do. It's just cosmetic. So that's my last.
Lumberg, my Titans needs to look pretty.
Oh
Have you not
God.
seen the mechanical one for the female? It looks so nice.
I
Oh
think
God.
cosmetic rewards in terms of gaming generally, like people will pay a lot for cosmetics. I remember when I first started playing this game, I kept thinking to myself, why doesn't Camel release packs where I can just buy every single firework? And I swear they would make so much money if they had a pack once a month where you could just spend, maybe they could charge probably $50 and people would buy it just to get every single firework, because stuff like that people love.
Yeah, I love using fireworks when I burn somebody.
Yep, I'm telling you, people love their fireworks.
You shallow human beings.
I am. I won't even deny it. I love the fish one. That's like one of my favorites, and then the white flag one is also another one of my favorites.
There's a white flag
White
one.
flag one. What's that?
That's
But there's
the
a firework. Yeah,
the,
that's
the
awesome.
surrender
Oh,
flag.
oh, you're talking about fireworks. I thought you were talking about something else. Sorry.
No, we're
Thank you
talking
for the
about.
$10 tip, Bong.
Oh, I need to
Yeah, gather,
post you.
gather, gather.
That's right.
Already making money on music.
For anybody who hasn't seen the recent video of our void with 151, I do recommend you watch it. It's really, I think, proud of it because it's some really good memes and the song is banging. It's pretty catchy. So if
The
you
song
haven't seen it, go right ahead and see it. It's pretty short. Sadly, it's short, but
Who
you
sang
can
it?
put it on loop. The little pineapple singed it.
is me.
Yeah,
Sorry, it was me.
it was all your.
Oh, really?
I'm the pineapple. That's me. I'm the pineapple. I'm the pineapple in 52.
I mean, it looks like you're a pineapple with pepperoni on your face.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be a pineapple pizza because that triggers people.
Yeah, you look like a adolescent pineapple. We'll move on.
So this one. It kind of like is related to economics, but also is just general gaming advice. And someone again mentioned in the chat that they feel that if they don't participate in every single event, they feel like they get left behind. And this is someone who's from a 700 world, and so again from someone who mains primarily in a 500 world, I get that mentality too, where you feel like you got to play every single event, you got to push every single event, because if you don't get the rewards for every single event, your city just falls behind. And so I like the perspective of the people who are playing in the older globes, like Globe 4 and earlier, like give some advice on people not pushing everything and why it's best for them not to.
Yeah, I don't know why they would feel that. I mean, honestly, events, like for me, events like EW and stuff like that, that's just to, gain merit and to help you grow. Chaos lands to help you grow, or that's what I would recommend for medium and lower spenders to concentrate on. Use those events to grow, gain the, whatever gifts or whatever that they have, but then just pick the events that you really like. And then concentrate your spend and your time on that. Because if you're playing all the events, I mean, it's fine if you play all the events, but I don't see where it makes them feel like they're being left behind. But I
think I think it's more like if they play all events, then they spent their, let's say, budget of the in the game from playing all the events instead of saying, "Oh, I like playing Void. I will only spend on Void, and the rest of the money that I want to spend on the game will be focused on my stats."
Oh yeah, yeah. From that perspective, yeah, I understand. Then I was thinking that they felt like left behind in the crowd, but yeah, if you're gonna play every single event, you're gonna spend a lot of money, and that's money that you could be using to upgrade your city. So yeah, I recommend to anyone just pick the events that you like, um, choose an alliance that is like-minded, so that you're not really shooting them in the foot either, and then just play from there. You know, it doesn't make sense to play in an alliance that excels in every event if you're only going to play Void. So
Thank you, Blue, for subscribing.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Find an alliance that's a good fit for you, and then focus on the events that are their priority. For example, we prioritize Void, Elite War being second, and then Conquest, right? So those are the events that you're always going to want to attend. If you need to skip a frenzy here or there, or you want, to take it easy in DoD or Triangle Wallet, then yeah, you can. I think in a lot of those type of events, you can, set your defense fleet and until you get to the knockouts, if you don't want to attack, you're not going to need to attack. It's usually over in, the first hour anyway.
I mean, I do agree that join alliances that are like-minded, like Jack said, but we also gotta think that like the nation as a whole, if the nation as a whole are like, okay, we're Boyd is priority, GC is priority, then you have to kind of, if you wanna follow that, you know, you gotta see what the nation wants as well.
Lumberg, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is really important to, not try to keep up with the Joneses. You set your own threshold of what makes you happy, right? So I'm happy with where my city is, what my strength is, how much I've spent on it. And it is important to keep in mind that, everything that you spend on this game is just that. You can't expect to get it back. It's not an investment. This is not an asset. It's a spend. You're getting enjoyment from it. If you don't, or if you aren't enjoying it, you shouldn't spend on it. Um, so treat it as that. The people that you keep company, the alliance that you're in has to be fun. A lot of us, end up spending a lot more because we enjoy the people that we're playing with. We like winning. That's probably the biggest challenge here, is that we really like winning. Everybody that's played this game really likes winning, and that's where we have to kind of hold each other accountable and remind, to not overspend. So I can be the mom in the alliance. I remind people it's not my money, but I remind them not to spend or not to, go crazy. But I think that those reminders are good, right? Because some people, they don't know when to stop, and they sometimes need help. But um, we are also selfish. I'm selfish in saying that, hint hint, don't spend on this shit. Come join us for Void, right? So of course, yeah, or save it for GC. We say it, and in Frenzy we'll say, oh wow, you used a lot of speeds there. So yeah, of course, there's some keeping. If you're not like-minded, like Nikki said, with what the nation wants, you're probably not going to be happy there, because everybody's going to celebrate certain victories, and if you're really enjoy Frenzy, and we don't care about Frenzy, you're not going to enjoy it.
What Lumberg was saying about having to remind people not to push all the time, that resonates like so deeply with me, because we all of us here, like, we love to win and we're hyper competitive. And in 567 it's the same thing, right? Like, I play with a group of players and they're all fantastic and everyone really wants to win, and we do tell each other, you know let's just focus on Void, because that's kind of our thing. Like, we like Void also, and we like Conquest. But dang, every time Frenzy rolls around and we tell each other, okay, don't push Frenzy, don't push Frenzy. And the next thing you know, like, we're all pushing Frenzy. And it is one of those things where you have so much fun with each other as friends that you can't stop spending, even though you try and tell each other, okay, guys, like, we need to stop, we need to stop. So I do find that really funny, that it's not just me. Like, other people have that same problem too, where it's like, okay, we're gonna stick to our budget, we're not gonna push this event, and then you play the event and it's just like all the rules are out the window. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw money at this right now because I'm having so much fun and we just want to keep winning.
That was me and Void.
I think that's a very good point, because see, what happens is, if somebody's attacking, right, and they're losing and they post it, it doesn't matter if you agreed not to spend. You're gonna just feel the need to come join, because you don't want them to just go out and die.
Yeah.
I do think it's really important. That's why, and we usually try to do this, is we set ahead of time that, hey, we're gonna lose this. Like, that's the mindset. And if somebody tries to win it, then you're screwed, because then that's the start of the ball rolling down the mountain, becoming a snowball, right? So an avalanche. So that's really what does end up happening. That if you need to stick to your guns and say, we really don't care about Frenzy. But if anybody kind of gets off page, and it's just going to snowball. I will give a couple of tips on some things, like the if you have room in your alliance, cycle through your farms and get those DoD and triangle tickets. they really do add up. So if you don't have room in your alliance, it doesn't help. But I don't know. We are probably never going to have room in our alliance, but I still, if there's room, we'll cycle through farms. It doesn't take very long. I mean, that's honestly what I use my farms for now. So if we ever get the need, I have a farm sitting with 3,000, tickets for DoD that can just come into an alliance and load at least like 20 people with shields, right? So you there's a couple of things that you can do, use without spending. Just use your thought process and strategy. Make deals with other nations to limit your spending. That helps everyone, right? So most likely the people that are stronger will win anyways, but you might both avoid spending items. So try to make deals, trust each other, and then try to use your where possible farms and strategy. That's kind of my additional tip of keeping. And then even in Frenzy, set up battles where until this new thing that Jack was talking about comes about, it's not a bad idea to reach out to alliances and say, hey, do you want to trade TAs and TDs? Everybody gets their points, everybody gets their gold. It's a good time to bring the alliance together. You're not hunting for targets. It's not a bad way to go about. Again, everybody needs to be on the same page. If your world isn't in the same page and you end up losing those battles, you don't want to be blamed for losing Frenzy. So it has to be a situation where we don't care about winning Frenzy. But those are just some thoughts.
We've reached the end of our agenda for the day. Does
Damn.
anyone have final thoughts? Anything else we want to talk about?
Count my speeds.
Blue coins are worth it. You should buy blue coins.
Yes, that is another great idea. If you do spend any decent amount on the game, you should absolutely use the Age of Origins coin site and have them deposited directly into your city. It's cheaper and faster to make purchases in a pinch.
That's right. I missed a question. How do you guys budget for this game? And so that's a good point about instead of just mindlessly tapping buy in the stores, using the AOZ coins page to allocate a number of coins that you're going to use is a good way to budget. So how do you guys budget for this game?
So for me, before they started the whole blue coin thing, I, like when you're buying from the store directly in the game, you
Hmm.
know how they don't take out the money on that day. You probably will get the transaction taken out like 3 days later or two, right?
Right.
So the problem with that is like you don't realize that you overspent, and then you come back and you're like, oh, I'm a negative now in my account. But now with blue coins, it's like you don't have to deal with the taxes because obviously like everybody has different tax brackets. And when you buy for, let's say this is 99 cents, it will actually you'll get taken out $1 and something cents. So you're not really paying 99 cents. You're paying more than that because of taxes. But with blue coins, you can just buy, let's say a $20 one. You get the $20. You got $20 in your account now with blue coins, and you can just buy the packs, like the one, let's say for the warplane, it'll say it's 299. Well, you're just gonna use 299 coins, no less, no extra, just literally what it says that you're gonna get. So if for me, but with blue coins, it's much easier to like limit myself in what I'm using or what I'm buying, and I'm not overspending unless I go buy more coins.
Lumberg, I think you've already talked about how you budgeted, right? Do you want to touch on that again?
I can. And blue coins is the AOZ coins. So that's actually a great way to do it. That I would also recommend. For me, I don't use the blue coins, but I just transfer $100 a month from my bank account. I'd never linked my credit card for those reasons. I think it's really important that you try to. So a lot of people that play this have an addiction problem. I kind of know I do. I have an addictive personality. That's why I'm here talking to you guys on a
Hello,
Saturday.
everybody. My name's Nikki, and I have an addiction problem. This is the AAA meeting of AOO,
Yeah.
GA Gamers Anonymous.
Gamers
Yes, so
Anonymous.
absolutely, I think it's important that you don't link a credit card if you have spending problems. So I link my bank account, I do a PayPal, and then I do usually a Google Play or iTunes gift card, and that's how I kind of keep the budget steady. And I don't, I don't spend unless I have money in PayPal.
Oxy, do you
No.
budget?
I think Oxy just moved from monster to kaiju.
I just click.
He does not look, he just press. Control all, select, boom.
That'd be
Bought the whole
sweet.
store.
There should be a buy all. There should be a buy all.
Buy, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do y'all ever get that? You're making frequent purchases too frequently. Please wait.
I
I
used to
mean,
until I started buying coins.
for me, what's in our void when you guys were like getting ready for an attack, I'm like, oh my god, I don't have enough speeds. Wait for me, let me buy some speeds. It's the whole
That's
like,
when it's
why
good to
is it
have
taking
coins.
so long? I
That's
mean,
why it's
yeah,
good
but
to
I
have
already used
coins
all
because
my
it's
coins in
instant.
healing. That
Oh, well, then
void,
you had to put more. Yeah,
oh
the
god,
void was fun.
dude. I was being dumb because I bought healing packs from from the normal store where you go and get Officer Titan where your is showing right now. I bought healings from there, but you guys were like, "Oh, go to limited special and bam, for $5.99 you can get like this many healings." And I'm like,
You gotta know the store,
"What?"
Nikki. That's your fault.
I think, yeah, they usually
I
have like
cry.
Every void and every frenzy,
that's
they
actually
have
a tip
they
for people.
have those at least the limited heals, which are actually very good value.
Yeah.
You should buy the first two. First one's all 2 hour heal speed, and the second one's $9.99. It's all 8 hour heal speed, but it's a solid way. Even if you're not planning to participate, I recommend that you buy those two and keep a healthy heals balance. It'll help you to avoid buying what you get like 4 1 hour heals for $5, Nikki.
Thank you, Mr. Blue, for the $25 tip. Um, for OnlyFans, you can contact Oxy for feet pics.
Thanks, Lomberg.
All right, thank you, Lumber, for joining us. Save us some birthday cake.
Yep. And then, yeah, just to touch on what Oxy was saying is, you definitely don't have to participate in every single event, but definitely keep an eye on the limited deals that show up for every single event.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I played in 567, I played in another nation that wasn't very competitive, but you still get the limited deals for things like Global Conquest, even if you don't necessarily play that because the nation's not competitive. And all those limited deals is a very, very cheap way for you to stock up on resources, heals specifically, so that you can push really hard on like the one or two events that you do like once a month.
Yeah, you should know what's on sale when. That's the only real way, particularly with a limited budget, to plan what you're going to spend and what you need and when.
Yeah.
You can't know when you're going to get the best deal and save or put towards it if you don't know what's on sale when.
I think Sayez made a spreadsheet that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it and has been shared
Yes.
around, that it shows the best value packs and the worst value, like one is green, one is red, and then it tells you which one is coming on which day. This is a
Yeah.
pretty good one to use when if you're like on a budget. Um, like I remember he was talking about for uranium, if you're focusing on buying uranium, you should buy, I think it was like just the monthly packs, because the daily packs are not worth the value, or it'll be like too much spending, I think it was. I don't know. Correct me,
Yeah.
Oxy, because I'm not remembering.
No, yeah, the month in general, usually the monthly packs are going to be a better value than the weekly, which would be better value than the daily. But
Hmm.
you should pay attention because it may not be better value to buy, say, all of the monthly than it would be to buy, say, the first three and then the first three weekly.
Like for me, I started focusing more on one talent in the Titan where it requires like that extra material that looks like a little hook. You know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
golden
about?
skeletons. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I realized that in the monthly, they give that pack that has a bunch of those.
yeah, those are a
So
good
instead of
deal.
me buying it individually in the Titan side of packs, I could just focus on buying it in the monthly.
Yeah, I usually don't buy skeletons in the present box or modify fluid in the present box, right? I'll buy those
I mean,
monthly
you rank
packs and then
high, you rank high.
I'll buy modify fluid sometimes in the daily packs, but I don't buy those in present box. Usually if I'm buying Titans in present box, it'll be alloys, tech chips, or XP. Used to be cubes, but now I don't have to worry about
Yeah, I
cubes.
mean, if you rank high in events, they'll give you those anyways.
Yeah, I think I've got about 700 of them in my bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm a peasant. I'm a peon. I don't rank high. Miss
It's
rank
actually,
12 over here, 12, 12 in void.
but if you do chaos, right? It's chaos. They give them
Dude, every time we
24.
have Chaos
It's
Land, we
really
have
not that much of
GC.
a difference. Well, not anymore. Don't know.
Well, I know
We'll have
not
chaos
anymore,
land
but
on
it's like,
Tuesday night next week.
well, I might as well
Go
join because every
there.
time we have Chaos.
Yeah, you'll be able to get like 20 cubes or something for finishing in that 50 range, something like that.
Yeah, hopefully. Depends who we get as an opponent.
Ah, you'd be fine. Just fly around a little bit and attack with people. You'd be alright.
I'll just follow you around.
That might be more expensive than buying the cubes.
That's what. That's what Sayez will always say. Like if you have like I was asking is it worth it for me to have this much BP? And he's like, well, you got to think about if you have the timing that will take you to hide, but if it's impossible for you to hide, then you had to teleport around, and teleporting
Yeah,
around will cost you money, which is not
yeah,
recommended. So being low BP is recommended for a low spending player.
yeah. On average, I use probably 50 teleports a war, 40 teleports a war, something crazy.
Good
All
Lord,
right,
have
so 80 to
mercy.
100,000 gold.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and how many?
bitch.
How many speeds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is actually a good
In
way. Like,
a heavy one, maybe 500-600, like
yeah, like
really
you.
heavy, and 50%. I don't usually screw around with 25%.
Yeah,
I save those for, speeding up a little bit in EW or something.
yeah. Like, what did you score in the in the previous void?
I
I think
think
it
my
was second
total was like
place.
1.8 billion, and it was like 1.67 in the void phase.
Yeah, and do you remember sort of roughly how much you spent in terms of like teleports and consumables and gold?
I actually did pretty good. I used about 35 teleports. I didn't get into the gold this time. I was pretty well prepared. I had about 40 teleports and like 280, 50%, something like that. But I
Two.
didn't do much solo killing this time. It was just group, and then right we had those few battles where we were a trap, and I was pretty close. I didn't, plus when it really gets expensive is when we fight nations like 219, right? Where half the time you'll see a shield drop and you go hit it and the damn thing's empty. That's when it really starts to add up. Fortunately, with 273, they're fat, so pretty much anytime you sped to something, there was a good reward for it.
Yeah,
And I
273 was
slept the
fun.
last 4 hours, which is uncommon for me. But yeah, a lot. I don't know, on average, probably for Void, $1,000, 750.
I think we were talking about this outside of the podcast too, which I thought was a very interesting way. Not so much budgeting real life money, but the way you budgeted your expenditure in the game through consumables is you try your hardest never to actually tap into your gold reserves. So if you run out of speeds, instead of you mindlessly clicking 500 speeds, you'll actually buy more speed items with the gold, and that's
Yeah.
sort of a way that you mentally keep yourself on track from going crazy, blowing through all of your gold, which I thought is it's actually a very smart way to play the game that way.
Yeah, because otherwise I find, right, usually when we're speeding to something, I'm not conserving speed. I'm mashing until I'm there. With gold, I don't know. I'm not paying attention. You're not seeing it deprecate in the little bubble, right?
Hmm.
When you're hitting it. And I find that there have been many occasions where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. I got 300,000 gold. And then the next thing I know, I'm like literally broken down with one shield, no gold, no speed, no teleport, right? Now, a lot of that is definitely teleports. If I don't have teleports, it hurts. I need a lot of gold. So, if I do good and end up getting a whole bunch of teleports, get lucky in the black market, um, then that definitely helps. But yeah, it's much better, I find, for me to be a little bit more reasonable with my spend. If I'm like, okay, I'm out, I'm going to buy another 50 or 100 50x speeds with gold. I never go too much. I just try to keep it to what I think I'm about to use. Otherwise, it's better to have the gold. It's more flexible as a value item, right? You can buy anything with it, so you don't want to convert it all into speed. But if you're going to need another 20, buy another 20. That stops me from spending 50.
What about you, Jack? What do you think? Do you ever experience that when you play Void? Like I know 30 plays Void and you get some good opponents and we see your score. Like your scores usually are big.
Yeah, kind of like Oxy. It's expensive when you're big BP. You've got to bounce around a lot. So, like this past void, I probably spent 500K on gold. After depleting all my teleports and speeds. But this void, like normally in an event, I'll probably make a I'll put a stop at like 300,000K just because just don't want to go crazy. But this void, I kind of wanted to go out and get void, whatever
Shit.
that thing is, void master or whatever. So I spent about 500K to get it. So it it gets expensive if you have to bounce around a lot. And that's advice for a lot of people that if you don't have the spend, then just play small. I mean, hide all your troops. You don't have to bounce around as much. Just you know, play within your means and don't keep building troops for the sake of building troops.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people think that if they have a lot of troops, like big BP players, like you can't hit a player that has 4 million something troops, battle power, right? No, you can't hit that. Nobody has reached the level to hit somebody like that. So I feel like people are trying to reach to that, so they won't be able to be hit. But they're missing the point of the person Titans, the person Warplane has a lot of factor to it. Plus their officers, like if they're a monster city and they have like I don't know like 100 mil of BP, we can easily hit that with only 30 people. Like a younger nation will take 80 people because their stats and their titans and warplanes are not up to that to us players who are from Globe One, right? But I just don't get why people would want to be such a small city, like I say, a C35 with 200 million BP, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't
Those are the
make a lot of
people that see, yeah, BP as their power, right? Some people don't separate the two and realize that that's not the source of your power. That's just troops. And if you need an illustration of that, watch somebody get caught with their titans out.
Yeah, that's
Right?
the
I
thing.
mean,
Like if your Titan are not home and you get caught, you're gonna lose the majority of your troops because your Titans, your Titans will protect your troops, most of them. But if there's no Titan, no plane, just troops, you're gonna lose half of that, depending who's hitting you. But yeah, so I see Jay is here. Hello, Jay.
Oh, Mr. J, welcome.
So,
You say you were broke and you didn't want to come, but here you are.
Give us some
I,
financial gaming advice.
I can't help with financial. I will make you more broken than now.
Give us a good tip, small tip.
So to minimum your spending in Void or Frenzy, just to play smart. So the fight not depend on how much you're spending. It's not Triangle War or Dude or this new event Iron Blood. If you play smart in Void, but not smart like me because I finished last Void broken.
Not smart like me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. More smarter than me. Play minimum. You don't have to use speed if you can hide your troops and scout. If you find something juicy, you can walk or you can spend depend on the situation. But always play smart and minimum your spending. You don't have to spend much to just win in void if you are already winning.
I
And
think
that's
it's
it.
when like you were in top somewhere in the top tens, right? And if you want to keep your rank, obviously you'll probably will have to spend way more to keep that rank. And
Yes,
also
if
the void was fun. We all had so much fun that we just kept spending and trying to find targets even though we were winning. We didn't want to stop the fun. We want to keep looking and killing things.
the reason I spend a lot in this void long time, I didn't play void like this, like I am in heaven. Everything is open, many troops waiting to die. So
Yeah,
I
that
am keep
night.
spending without notice anything. Also, my alliance points was 200k. Today I checked 10k only.
Just
Yes,
imagine a Joker skipping around the meadow. That was Jay in 273.
Well, it's been a really long time since 52 has had an active void like that, one where it was so target rich and there was so much to do.
I don't even know that it
And
was necessarily
they're
target rich, right? Kudos to 273 for not hiding and coming out to fight, determine the war
oh
on war
yeah,
day.
they
Um,
came. They came at us. They were not scared of us.
no, it was awesome.
and
Lots of
also we
respect for
know
them.
it's the trap and we hit the trap. Also, it was really juicy world. I know I am going to lose troops, but I don't care. I'm having fun now. But
Mhm.
then when void over next day, what I did yesterday, oh my god,
Lost 5 million BP.
unbelievable.
Dudes, I started Void with 54 million and I'm at 44 million. But that's because everything is at the hospital. I was at 16 days healing. Right now I'm at day 10 of healing. And I have no heals. I can't speed it up. I have no heals.
Also, the healings I used in this void more than I am using
No,
over
GC
content.
made me broke. GC
I
Fidel,
I
never
I
again.
don't I don't use healing in GC because I'm always keeping on one fleet for my best fleet to keep my main fleet active in GC. That's why I'm using the less healing in GC. But in this void,
Yeah,
I
that's the sticking.
used almost half my healing. It's not GC, it's not Elite World. So, what
Are
was fun?
void potions worth it to buy?
Yes,
Yes,
So, did
for
anybody use
me,
the void
what
hospital?
I do. I buy them
I
way cheaper
empty
than
my
recruiting.
hospital. It's cost me around maybe $150. for 70K in hospital. But it's worth all in the hospital was T12, so it will cost more if I want to recruit them more. Around 70K T12, so it's worth for me.
All right, so void potions are worth the buy.
Yes, if you want
Um,
to calculate how much speed you need to recruit them again, it will be maybe double.
yeah, definitely. I think, but be selective, right? Don't just heal it because it needs healed. Heal your good troops. Like Jay said, all of his were T12. So heal your good troops. If you are a player that plays at the limit of what they can hide, make sure they can hide. Then only heal back what you need and make sure that you can continue to hide.
Yeah, but sadly I got caught, so
But you're
I honestly
lucky.
don't know what I have.
Most what you lose most of them T10. So you're
I
lucky.
mean, yeah, because I've been recruiting T1s, and this is why I've been recruiting T1s. At least I'll lose the T1s and some T10s, but I'm not gonna lose my T12s and 11s. I mean, it works, you know.
Oh, you have T10s.
Why do I have T10s? I don't know. They're
Mm-hmm.
just there. They're just like honestly, it's only a little amount of T10s that I have. I deleted like 500,000 of snipers when I got the account. It was sniperish, but who needs snipers? Just delete them all. Oh,
Yep, promote the good ones, delete the rest.
Mm-hmm. I remember I had 50,000 shredders, and I never had this many frontline because we haven't had a good void. Okay, we have had good voids, but most of them have been, they want to recruit, they want to bubble, they don't want to do nothing with us, right?
Recruit and bubble.
So it was mostly like, you just come in when there's a speed attack. Unlike this void, you just came in and like, oh, there's a target, another one here. Oh, let's go here. Like nobody was calling on Discord, like, hey, we need people. I mean, that only happened like when there were bigger targets, but anything that one person or two people can go and hit, there was plenty of those.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a trap. It seemed like once an hour somebody was setting a trap.
That
And if you know
was
us, you
too
know we
fun.
love a trap.
Well, look who is here, the myth, the legend, the budget in the Starbucks. Himiko's here. Hi, Himiko.
Hi,
An
good morning.
hour and
Well,
37
in my
minutes
studies,
late.
good morning.
You're late.
I know. Honestly, I fell asleep. Um,
Okay.
Hi guys. Hello everybody. Sorry, no, I actually did fall asleep, but then I had to do some quick things with my kid. But sorry for being late.
That's all good. Give us your
It's
budgeting
okay.
advice in the last 20 minutes.
So budgeting for me is literally it's just enjoying the game, I guess, cuz I don't spend like I don't know. I guess when I budget myself, it's like I wanted like buy all the packs, but then you think of like where does that get you sometimes? Like I know you want to be a whale, but it's like I find more enjoyment like being able to kind of see my like or at least in NLS in 330, that's kind of how we see it. It's like we upgrade like slowly and we see more improve like we like improving slowly and enjoying the game in that way. If you kind of get my drift, like for example, for me, I only buy the first two packs every week for uranium. And in 3 months, I already did with just collecting, like being in the uranium mines constantly. I literally collected already I'm at City 34 and I'm already going to go City 36. And I'm not the first one that's done it. It's actually a couple people in my alliance that's done that. So I mean, if you budget yourself, like just buy two packs a week, like or like two of the thing that you want to develop, You buy the 2 packs every week, and you join all your like you join all the events that give you those things. Like for example, I think Chaos Lands gives you the little cubes too for your Titans. So people might think I spend money, but I actually got my Titans gold from just joining Chaos Land, like being like paying attention, like listening to your leaders. Like, hey, we're gonna attack this big whale. Boom, 40 of us. Bah, 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 bah. Hit it. You get your point. So if you just follow and like show up to your events, and then obviously you just only buy the 2 packs or 1 pack if you can every week, in like in a few months you end up having everything you need, and you enjoy your team, you enjoy the game. You're not I've met some of the players that I've met that wasted a lot of money. They get frustrated, and then they're like, "Oh, I wasted all this money, and like they beat me. They like, you know what I mean?" And it's like, yeah, because you're I don't know. It's like you enjoy the game more with the team and budgeting and watching yourself grow slowly than just wasting all this money and getting big and then getting beat up by a good group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Um, but I mean, we still have some like like Boss Baby. He's a really really good player. He spends a lot of money, and he's really good. Like and I mean, I have so many friends here on AOO that like did use a lot of money, and I mean, are amazing, and they're really really good. So I mean, I can't even say like, but to me, it's more like I try to reach people that if you don't have that much money and you feel like intimidated by people that do have it that way, and props to them, like if they have good businesses or jobs, because most of the people that I know that have that, they have like they own businesses, or they, you know what I mean, they have it set up super super great, and that's awesome. So um for those people that don't have it like that, it's like don't get intimidated by it. Just work at your own pace and enjoy your team. Like be part of your team. Because at the end of the day, your team still needs you. It's a team kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's not just a one player thing. But the one player that if you do have a one player for ours, it's we have NK Cell, and then we have Kilometer. They're like our spenders. And then from there it's kind of like a barrier of us that spend minimum. Um but we try to be there for them like as a team. So if there's people out there that are like getting intimidated or they get like upset because they don't spend, like don't get like discouraged. Like just join your team, be with your team. Um, I don't know. There's a few players from Mexico. Mexico. I have a couple players from Mexico that they actually don't buy any packs, like none, and they've been playing the game since I started like 4 years ago, and they already got their officers 5 stars, like with SS stars and everything, and no spending. So it's possible as long as you have a good team or you just like work with your team, you could do that.
I think it's important too to know that, like, and just from listening to what Himiko is saying, is it sounds like your alliance and the people that you play with have like a very good understanding of what their role is in the alliance, and they
Yeah,
know that if you're not going to spend money, then the other things that you can do is you just need to make sure that you're active and that you're doing everything that you can to get all of the free things that you can get in the game, because that's the
correct.
only way that you're going to be able to advance. Like you can't just log in for an hour and then expect eventually that you're going to get strong, because that's just not enough
It's
time to
not
vote.
gonna work out that way. Or people that don't collect uranium, like don't expect you to. I mean, you're not gonna move up in uranium, and that's one of the things I was noticing. I'm like, man, everybody's going like 635. Like, I'm still 34. And then I realized I'm like, are you going in the uranium mines, like plundering and like checking every 5 hours? Like, so what my friend did, obviously, even for me, it's a little bit more difficult because as soon as people see me on the uranium mines, they kick me out.
Oh, girl, they
So
do the same thing to me. It's like,
so
oh,
yeah, I
look,
have
it's
to buy
Nikki. Let me kick
like
her
you buy
out.
the $20 pack every, the $20 monthly card gives me the 4 hours, and they'll sometimes give me like an hour and a half extra, and so I already kind of have it marked down. I have an hour and a half. So then I set my times and then I go back in. So I usually I stay on uranium 4, which is the fourth one, the one that gives you the most. And then I go to either uranium 5 if it's during the day. If it's during the night, I go on uranium 4, like level 4, because it kind of gives me a little more time. But I stay in 5 and then I stay there for like the most out where I get like 430 amount of uranium, and then I go plunder somebody, get 76, so it's like almost 500. So I make my math. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting 1,000 every couple hours, okay, and that's kind of how I did it.
Yeah,
You have to
just to kind of
really
oh,
do
sorry,
math.
go ahead. Just to kind of gauge players. So, like in our world is super old. So, like for a player that doesn't spend and is fairly active, they've become C37s already, right? So that should kind of give you an idea. And that's like for 4 years and 4 months or
4 years.
so. Yeah. So that should give you a gauge. Like if you're a player, you're active, and you don't spend, but maybe for the uranium card or the Supreme card or whatever, you can anticipate that you'll make that kind of progress. So that's a good gauge for most people, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I just like, and that's one thing that I talk to some of the people, or as me being a vet, it's like I talk to people that's like, I don't get discouraged. There is amazing players that spend a lot of money, and when you get to meet them and know them, like I've met a couple of you guys, and they're actually genuine dope people. Like they're really cool, and they just got it like that. Like you know what I mean? They have it set up, and that's tight. And don't get discouraged and just keep going. And it's kind of like you actually learn from those players. Like once you like if you get into like watching the videos or watching podcasts or even joining chat rooms, and you read what they're talking about, like, hey, I upgraded this and it didn't really do that and it didn't show the stats of this, or you just like read everything and like learn it. And so while you're developing your city, even me as a city 34, um, there's sometimes where I could take like uh bigger targets because the way my city I'm like making it develop from watching my friends that have already finished building up their city. So I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, so you focus on that. Okay, so that didn't really work. So I shouldn't really worry about that. So I started learning what I want to like, or if I do end up spending money, I know what I want to spend it on. But I don't buy all the packs because I can't afford them.
So to be in a budget, you need to be good at math because you gotta calculate it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally have a little notebook and I like start writing like how much each pack costs. And then because even too, if you notice, like sometimes the way they put their packs, like for example, you're doing triangle ward, um you have to buy the $10. I only buy the $10 one multiple times just because it gives you that extra 10 little. I think if you buy, it's like what, 9.99 for 110, and then you buy the $20 one for 200. So it's like might as well get the $10 one twice so it's $20. You get 240 instead of 200. I mean 220 instead of 200. You know what I mean? So little things like that you have to like always watch when you're buying packs. I also have it, and I recommend people to do this is write down the if you have a little notebook, get a notebook and then write down the days where they have the like the sales, and know which days are the main ones that you want to go in and like drop $5 and give yourself a limit. So for me, I started working at Starbucks for this is how much this but this is why I like the game. I'm devoted to playing this game and other games that I play on my phone and like PlayStation and stuff. But I literally got my weekend job at Starbucks, so I could get like keep buying games and be playing games. Like right now, I'm trying to save up for a new VR set.
Is Starbucks hiring? I need to
Yes,
go
all the
apply.
time. But then that's the thing. I'm like, I like being there like weekends, but there's sometimes where I'm like, I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot come in. I have voids. This is a really serious one. I'm like, I can't. Or like they'll catch
You
me
know,
in the restroom and I'm like, I'm coming. I swear I'll be there. Like we have a long line. I'm like, I'm coming. We're doing a freaking attack.
for me, it's like my weekends when I work, it always land on Frenzy and Void.
Yes.
It's the worst. I mean, at my job, it's pretty chill, and I'm over here trying to like join in and everything. But when it gets crazy, it's like, okay, I can't go to the, I can't do it. No, no, I'm busy. No, I can't join the attack.
Yeah. There's just sometimes where you can. Yeah, absolutely. But like
Yeah, because
once again, it's just about enjoying yourself in the game. And if you want to spend, I recommend you do join. If you do want to spend, I do recommend you joining an alliance that's gonna be dropping cash. And if, but then I think I wanted to join one, and then I'm just so attached to NLS. Like I'm really I love the way we work there, and I love the way like we're slowly developing. You know, the problem is that a lot of them have been quitting. You know, a lot of us joined AOO during COVID, and then jobs picked up, and bills came back in, and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of people are leaving, and our lines did decrease, and then it split up after. So now we have WAO, it's WAO, and a lot of our good players went over there, and I guess we're a little too calm for them. And I mean, they did a really good job. They clean out the server and they burn all the farmers, and now it's like where it's only the fighters left, and it's just us two fighting, like two alliances fighting.
yeah, until
So
merge
Boss
comes, and
Baby
then bam,
and
more farmers.
PP and who's over there too? There's like from our old from our NLS. There's what's it called? Coke, Seabirder. Like there's a bunch of them that went over there. They were really good fighters, and then now um NLS is kind of like the second there, but we still give it all and we have a good time over. Um, but it's we just don't worry about like being. We don't even care about being a number one in lines. We just want to play. We love voids. We love playing. So what's it called? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just like we just don't we don't see we like to enjoy the game. That's what I want to tell everybody: is enjoy yourself in the game. Fun. Um, and if you do know like people that are spending, talk to them, like get to know where they put their money, you know what I mean, like how did they budget, or how did they spend it, or where did they spend it on, or was it a good like did they was that a good choice on spending that much on that, and they'll tell you like, oh no man, I shouldn't have spent that much on that, but you should spend on this, or get to know them, or talk to them, and then you
Or
learn
you
how to
can
build
share
your
them
city
this
correctly.
podcast once it's done. Just share the link, and they can hear the podcast and learn some tips and tricks.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, watch the videos, watch like what like if you know vet links and stuff, like go and look at them, like you really do learn. And honestly, I started before even I was the vet, I was watching everybody that was putting up like YouTube videos for Age of O. I think at the time it was Age of O. Yeah, no wait, no, AOZ.
H of Z.
Yep, Age of Z. I remember like looking it up on YouTube. I'm like, Age of Z guy, like, and I found it, and I was like, oh shoot, and it showed me about like for fleet formations right away. I was like, I thought it was also about killing zombies. All right, fleet formations. What is this? And I watched the video and I'm like, okay. So don't use like frontline 1-1-1-1-1s, like
Oh God, not that flea from back in the day.
Oh,
but that's what we started with, and like you went in there. I mean, I still even use those formations. That makes your uh, it makes like the if you well, it's kind of like a little secret what we use it for, but yeah, we use it here and there sometimes to make some traps and stuff.
Yeah.
But those are like this is what I'm saying. Like you meet an alliance, you vibe with them, and it's just you have a good time. You just have a good time. And I mean, and 330, I think we have a really good record for voids and frenzy. I think this year we've only lost once, and it was because we gave up the loss. We were like, we're not gonna fight. Like NLS was like not fighting. We're just like we're not gonna fight. But that's because we had just split, and we're just kind of going through it a little bit. But we're back to being in good terms. We got rid of all the farmers and all that,
And
and
then you get
then
merged.
now we're gonna get merged. And I actually have uh it's kind of supposedly somebody from 353 came into our server saying that we're getting merged, but there's no confirmation from VIP, so I hope not. I really hope not. It's kind of like we have the same thing with them, like how 52 has with 219. Except 219 actually, there, you do have some fighters out there. I don't know, 353 has like strong
Mm.
cities, but they just don't fight. It's really
No,
hard.
I'll think it's more like if 52 gets merged with 33.
Oh,
Is that
or,
how
yeah.
that how you it feels like?
Okay, yes, yes, yes. So
Yeah,
like
because 219,
353.
if 52 and 219 do end up merging with each other, that's a hell of a powerful
Heck yeah.
merge.
But for us is that
Because
we keep
you
getting
got
353 for
two
voids
very
and friendly.
strong.
We
Yeah,
just
yeah,
keep
yeah.
getting them, and it's like, oh, we're just so tired of each other. So I think if we get merged, or I maybe Camel might do that just because they want to suspend. If we get merged, it's probably gonna be a civil war, and it's gonna be. And then now they're talking about I guess we're joking around with them, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna join forces with Whale and like take down NLS. I'm like, well, this should be interesting if it does come down to that, but we'll see.
Well, there's no confirmation, so don't listen
Yeah,
to
there's no
trolls.
confirmation for our VIP, so it's like.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think they're
thank
just
you,
because they're
Himiko.
like, let's stop attacking each other on uranium work. I'm like, okay, that means they're probably just wanting us to stop getting at them.
I mean, that's kind of smart. Like, say something like that, and then it stops everybody at their tracks of attacking uranium.
Yeah. So they're like, so let's please stop the attacks in uranium mines. And so us in NLS, we're like, are they just saying that so we can fucking like not attack them there? Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see. Well, thank you, Himiko. Now, as a short brief, just have fun, budget smartly,
Yeah,
and get
like
a job at Starbucks.
Good.
Because Starbucks
Yeah,
is always
get a little
hiring.
second
It's a
job.
nice
Get a
gig.
job that
It's a
you
nice
enjoy.
gig.
I know people have their regular jobs and then you just either you like it or you don't. For me, I love my regular job because it's with my community and like I help. It's just my the people I have to like tell them what to do. I'm like, God, didn't I tell you to print those out and like we're putting them back and forth like that little things like that. Other than that,
Mhm.
my job is great in the afternoon, like Monday to Friday, but I needed that little extra cash, because I'm like, I want to buy like uranium, or for me it's the cubes, it was a little gold cubes. So I will
I
buy
think it's
those
a smart
little
move, to be
weekly.
honest.
Yeah, weekly I will buy the little pack that comes in the special, the weekly special. There you go. Uh,
Like,
so I
I
will
think it's
write
a
like
smart move.
yeah. So I went and got it, and I really love coffee. One, I love coffee. Two, I like making it myself. So I got a job at Starbucks. So I want you get like a win-win. So
Yeah,
join
it's a
something that
win-win.
you like. You do get a second job, like get something that you really like. Starbucks is fun. Starbucks is really fun. And then
Yep.
now, when Karens
The
come
cube
in,
pack's a
you could
good deal
actually
too.
tell Karens off, and then you don't get in trouble.
What packs, Oxy?
That first weekly cube pack was like 13 of them for $6.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm. And then now with the warplanes, they have that one too for like the warplane. It's like a $6 pack every week.
Yeah, they have one that's $5.99, and then the second one's $8.99. And the
Yes.
alloys.
Mm-hmm. Those are my packs for my warplanes. And then I actually do save up in my bank account. Like I have like a little thing. So when what's it called? That event? The bounty event with the homegirl Lori. That one, when that comes on, you could buy that one I mean, you save up money for that one, and then you could save up enough to get like 10th place. I mean, I like getting 5th place or like sometimes third because you get that little city and it gives you like a little HP and attack boost. What is it
Yep,
called?
10% attack boost from the Dragon City and 5%
Yes,
defense
I
from the
love that
car.
Dragon City. What is that called? But it's in the bounty event.
Mechanical Dragon.
Yes, I just talking about Marine in my. Yeah, I save up about $300, and it gets me to 5th place or third. It's just people when they see it's crazy. Like when they see me going onto the ranks of like the spending, then people start spending all crazy, and I'm like, what the? You guys weren't spending that much.
Oh, I know the feeling, girl. I know the
Yeah, it's like as
feeling.
soon as my name goes on third, like on the little thing it says third. The next I like come check 2 hours later, I'm like 7th. I'm like, I
Yeah,
was looking.
you can't have her be at third place. I need to spend more because I gotta be in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? I just want the little city.
Yeah. It's like when people don't wanna share being top 10, even though they've been there for so many times. Like
I know. I totally
let me
called off
have
my. I
this
called off
once, you
NK
know?
Cell.
Let me be for once top 10.
I call NK Cell. What did I tell him the other Voids? He was already like he always gets first place for Voids, and like he always gets the cool city. And so my phone was broken. I think I remember mentioned. I show you guys my screen. It was completely cracked from one side. I mean, I could literally only see like the half of my screen long ways, and then the bottom part I couldn't see either. So I'm guessing where the little tower for events. I'm guessing where it's at. I'm guessing where like how to exit my city. Like it was so hard to try to play Voids
Gotta
this
use that
weekend,
muscle memory.
and I'm like trying to figure it out. And so this one city was out. The bubble literally dropped, and then somebody saw it, and they're like, "Oh my god, I already used my SOS!" Like somebody like hit it. The bubble literally just dropped. So somebody goes, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go after, and I start sending it, and then I see NK like port right next to it and start sending lines, boom, 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 and I'm like, no, I was going, and then so I just like didn't even activate the SOS. I didn't even. I wasn't gonna say like SOS or anything. I'm like, oh fuck it, but I already had sent one fleet, and so I just like didn't even speed it up. I just let it land. Oh well, we'll get there.
I mean, you're crazy enough to play on a phone like that. I mean, I would even play. I
Yeah,
would just take a
that's what
family
I know
day.
exactly. I was like, but it was in our turf, so I sent one fleet to do what is it called? Where you hide the entire fleet, Doom. And I
Mm-hmm.
only saw it was a little bit more safer there. I could kind of do it safer. So I did that and I just send it. And then after I seen him do that, I'm like, thanks for taking all the points already. It was and then Kilometer was like, yeah, he's really fast. I'm like, yeah, very selfishly fast. Selfishly fast you are. But I
I
love
mean,
them.
regardless, it's a team game, but every man for himself, right?
Yeah, but I love them. I love them. They're great. I wouldn't leave them. I love them.
Yeah, great bunch.
Yeah, dude, I've been
All
with them for
right.
4 years.
You know, that's the hard thing about this game. When you've been with the same people for 4 years and you've been chatting and playing, it's so hard to just
Yeah, and I left
quit.
them. I left them a little bit for like 390. I actually, and I should have probably joined the R5 podcast because that's what happened. That's what reasons why I'm not in R4 or R5, because I used to be really involved in that, and I was in R5 and I was in R4, and I run like the academies and the farms, and I was on top of everybody with the R5. And then we had a Lions merge, and they told me to if I well actually I was like the only way we can merge is if people give up their R4 positions. I was like, fuck it, I'll give mine. Like, so let's merge it. And so they're like, okay, Kuro, like, I mean, what the time my name was Kuro, not Jaimiko. They're like, she's gonna give out her R4, and so a couple of other players did the same. And we had to merge, but they were like, your role doesn't change, but it did. They like little things started happening, and I'm like, well, they wouldn't listen to me. The newcomers like were laughing, like they will be like, yeah, right, like kind of like shrugging their like they were like, I don't care what you say, and I'm like, but we always had this rule here, like, and I'm letting you know this is what we do here, and they're like, no, like little things that started
See, that's
bugging me.
when you
And then
shouldn't
instead of my
merge with such.
R5 taking like my like being like, hey, this is not kilometer by the way, an R5 that I had, which turned out being a guy, and I think Weekend knows him. Weekend knows this person. She ended up, I call her a she, but apparently it was a guy the whole time. She he I don't know who it was. He freaking started like the undermining me and telling me like not like you know what I mean? If they were shrugging their shoulders, then she shrugged her shoulders. And I'm like, what the then you know what? I'm out of here. So I left at 390. And I was like, this is stressful and it's like I don't need this. This is a game. I'm already stressed at work. Like I need to come and play. And then like I went to 390 and the whole time I was like, "Wait, this is kind of cool, but I don't know a lot of the people here." So yeah, you kind of I went back to 330 just because I knew everybody. But
Yeah, maybe we'll have a part two to that R5 and R4 daily life because there's so much to uncover about that topic and so many experiences and horrors and really funny stories that
yeah,
happened to many of us with being in R5 and R4. But I
yeah, it's
think,
like if
yeah,
you
maybe
are
we'll
an
do a part
R5,
two.
make sure you have the R4s that you have, you trust them and you have their back because and if you do have an alliance merge and some of your R4s do drop down to R3s or you know what I mean? Like make sure that you always still like give like you know what I mean? Like and don't like you know what I mean? Like everybody is like how you mentioned earlier, everybody makes the team. So you need everybody. And if you start like demanding somebody or like putting down somebody else in your alliance, like how is that going to help your alliance grow? If you're, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Well, we already reached the 2 hour mark. I think it's been a good podcast. I mean,
and
we
I see
gave some good advice. Himiko gave some great advice about being a low budgeted spender or player. I mean, not spender, player, low budgeted player. A lot of us should hear that because, game can be expensive and we can just overspend. But if we budget correctly, we do our math and be responsible adults, then we should be fine and have fun.
yeah.
And if we have too much fun, then either way, we're gonna spend as we spend. And don't
And
be like me.
or I had people that I'm like I make so many good friends that spend a lot and they were using their credit cards and then their wives find out and then their wives make them quit. It's like I'm so sorry and it sucks.
I mean, those were the ones that were saved.
And then
Because
yeah. Oh, that
like
was so
I
sad.
did use my credit card. I did use my credit card. It's the worst thing you can do. Don't use your credit card. It's a big mistake. Um, that's for another time. I'm gonna cut it short. Thank you for everybody who joined us. Thank you, Lumber, Jack, Oxy, Yor, and Himiko, and Mr. J who came in out of nowhere.
Mr.
Am I missing
J.
anybody? Yeah, Jay came in and
I
just
love
told
that
us
dude.
that don't be like him because he's broke. He overspent in Boyd. Um, but yeah, thank you everybody who came in the chat. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.